You want a DIY, an electric fireplace install? No problem. Watch me frame it, drywall it, trim it, paint it, and even install a 50-inch Touchstone fireplace. I'll cover all the details and include the costs. And it's all next on Home Pro Hero. Welcome back. I'm in my master bedroom again. If you saw my last video, I installed the beams above me. Now it's time to jazz up the wall directly across from my bed and a craftsman style upper window. Mainly gonna focus on the center portion of this wall, which is gonna be anchored by a Touchstone 50-inch electric fireplace. All the bells and whistles, including Wi-Fi. I got all my ideas from Pinterest and House. I take the best out of all the pictures that I look at and I combine them all together, which gives me a unique finish. This isn't a huge project, but it's loaded with details, which is gonna take some time. I do have a few challenges that some people won't have. I have a 9-foot wall, vaulted ceilings, and the beams I gotta all work in between. With all that said, let's get to work. Okay, I've got the drawing on SketchUp, kind of have an idea how big I wanna go. Simply, I got my U-Par tool. So the angle of my roof's about 18.3, 18.4, which is about a 412 pitch. If you don't understand pitch, a 412 just means it goes 4 inches up for every 12 inches. I definitely need to angle my roof. I also need to know how tall my wall is. So the box I'm building for my fireplace is roughly 18 inches out from the wall and almost 6 feet across. My fireplace is roughly 50 inches. That'll give me about 12 inches on each side. I've got 6 2x4x8s and 8 2x4x10, along with a box of 3-inch construction screws. Because my pitch is 412 and I'm going out 18 inches, that puts about 6 inches that I have to add to my studs. Thank God I got my mobile workbench. Works like a champ. Plus dust collection. We don't have to be exact here. We just have to be in the ballpark because we are going to set that front wall first and then we'll make our side wing walls match whatever distance that may be. So what I gotta do is I gotta cut a 18-degree angle on this to make it nice and straight. Okay, 18-degree angle, just like that. Boom. Very important measurement right there. Gotta make sure the opening for this particular fireplace, the 50-inch Touchstone, has to be at 4 3/4, which this is gonna set that. Boom, mark it, and then exit. And 5/8. 74 and 5/8. Hey, let's check the math and see where we're at. So I got 74 and 5/8 over there. And on here I have 74 and 11/16. That's pretty close. Let's cut. Hope it fits. I'm not gonna lie. I want the extra 1/16 of an inch off the drawing on the computer instead of my manual measurement, which looked like that was right on the money. Ooh, I'm glad that thing fit through all those openings. Didn't know there for a while. Okay, good. We're off to a good start. I'm gonna rip off those baseboards, get some measurements, get this thing plumb, and then we'll make those wing walls real quick. Okay, I think I got it pretty level and plumb, actually. I cut little blocks, 1 3/8, which is the depth I need, and it's pretty close, maybe off by 1/16. It doesn't matter really how far I stick out from the wall here because the fireplace is only like 5.5 inches thick. But what is important is making sure it's level and tight to the ceiling, or at least somewhat tight. And that's pretty much on the bubble there. I got everything set. Am I really craving spring? 67 degrees and sunny in February in Indiana? That's crazy. I'm not gonna put an angle on the side walls just because it's not really necessarily needed. And these should just plug in pretty easily because the main wall is not fastened. So now we're just gonna attach the front wall, which we built separate, the 2 wing walls all into one unit. Once we get it in one unit, then we'll square it up, put it against the wall, and fasten it down forever. It's kind of important to be square. That's perfect, right on the money right there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna toenail that back side and probably toenail right here, just temporarily until I actually see how it all turns out. If it's good to go, then we'll fasten it all the way up. And I'll show you how to tie it in without finding studs. Pretty simple. We'll worry about the top here in a second. Let's head to the other side. So right about, we'll sink one of these into the oak. Let's find some rafters in the ceiling that we can attach our screws to. Right there. So in my project, there's no studs where these actually meet the wall, right? On either side. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go cut a 2x4, the width of that board to that board, fasten it on there because I know there's tons of studs in here, and then we'll just overlap this with a smaller 2x4 block. Should make it nice and tight and keep the middle nice and secure to the wall. And the final step is we'll sink a couple screws in the front here just for the fun of it. It's not going anywhere, but definitely want to hit one in there. So now that the framing's done, I'm gonna go ahead and use drywall to actually use as a paneling on the outside. I could go with 3/4 inch plywood here or even a 1/2 inch plywood, but why would I? It costs a lot more than drywall, and drywall is a lot easier to cut and hang. Believe me, I've done this in several different areas of my home before. You'll never know the difference if this is wood or drywall. All right, here's our panel. All we're gonna do is snug it up here against the back wall. I think it weighs a ton. This 5/8 stuff, no joke. But definitely a lot heavier than the 1/2 inch. Yeah, not too much scrap. Live with that. 3 sheets. I did put blocking in for the lights I'm going to install in the front of this. You don't need them, but that definitely makes things easier later down the road. Hope it fits. Perfect. So usually when I do drywall work, I just do it in the kitchen. I use that 45-minute quick mud dust, just add water to it. The reason why I do that, because the stuff in the pails go bad after a while, and I don't use drywall mud that often, so this is an easy way to save some money on that. Hey, so it's the next day, and without you guys being there, I made this side already. Let me show you. Angle gave me some problems at the very, very top, but I think I got it. That's it right there. I'm gonna bring you along for the one I'm gonna make on the other side so you can see how I did it. I'll have another video later down the series here that will explain how I do my wainscoting type panels of this nature. Always thought it'd be harder, but it really isn't. The pros will sit there and say dowels and biscuits and all that stuff. Honestly, a guy like me, a guy like you, we don't know the difference. Once it's on the wall, I could care less how it's put together as long as it looks good. So at the end of the day, this will look just as good as theirs, just made a heck of a lot easier with pocket holes, and it's DIY friendly. So you can see right here, there's lines that tell you exactly where to line it up at. Makes it even easier. Boom, it's in there. You just drill the holes. That's all it does. And then we'll butt it together, probably use a little glue and screws, and that's how you make your joint. Super strong and very easy. Let me drill a bunch of these holes. I'll come back when I get them all drilled. Okay. So now we're just gonna assemble real quick. I had to chew out this with a saw to make it fit between the beams and the upper part there, so it fits. Put it on the location it needs to go, and you use this clamp to lock it in. But there's certain screws for certain types of wood. Got one strong joint. So the clamp keeps everything flat on the front, which is important. Means you don't have to sand as much, right? Moving on to the top portion of the fireplace now. Real simple. It's really just 6 pieces. I got a header, a bottom, and I got what I would call 4 legs. I've already pre-drilled everything and got everything cut down to size. Anyways, same process I did the sides with. Pocket screws, using my jig, and using the screws. It's pretty simple, a little glue. Should be pretty easy to put this together. I've already pre-fitted the header to make sure it fits between the beams and it fits fine. So we're rolling right along. Okay, then all we're using is just regular liquid nails. Favorite of the channel, actually, I love this stuff. Just gonna be kind of somewhat generous. I like to go over top the seams at least to beef them up a little bit more. We'll set these in temporarily until I get that face glued up and installed right and level and plumb. Then the sides will come along nicely afterwards. All you gotta do is take it and slide it in the spot. Keep in mind, there's glue in the back side now, so. You know, it seems like a lot building these units like this, but I tell you, in the long run, it pays off. The finished product, second to none. Like I told you earlier, no one's gonna know if you have dowels or biscuits or any of that stuff. Now we wanna get as close as we can to where it's gonna go. Important step here is we wanna make sure we're somewhat level, which we're really good, actually, we're perfect right there. I just followed the roof line really, so the roof should be somewhat level, and that made the face level. Okay, I want to clamp from up here first, because I want to make sure that this point right here is lined up with this face right here. So it looks pretty good, it's a little low. Right there's where it needs to be. Just being kind of OCD at this point, no one will pay attention to that besides probably myself, but oh well. All you're gonna do is bring them together. Like that, and like that. I'm using my trusted DeWalt 18 gauge. I think I'm firing 1 3/4 brad nails right now. So you see the pocket holes, but we boycotted that. We're not gonna do that. All we're gonna do is put some liquid nails on this. We're gonna face nail them to the side. I'm gonna hit some studs here along the way, hopefully. Enough to keep them in place, but I don't want them moving on me. It's pretty good, actually. I think we're fine. I'm right there. You can see how tight it fit. Okay, we'll do a little bit of sanding right there. We'll do some fill anyways. Okay, next day we gotta prep for paint real quick. Nothing crazy. I got a 120 sanding block. We're gonna sand down all the spots that I actually put the mud on. See if we can get it looking decent. Any kind of imperfections, I'll use this vinyl spackle. I've used this recently on a project and I really liked it. Get it at Lowe's. Then all we're gonna do is go hit all the nail holes with the same spackle. It's pretty simple. Also gonna cover all the little joints if I think they need them. And honestly, I don't think they need them, but definitely the legs. We'll hit those up real good. And then just a regular latex caulk. I got this from Sherwin-Williams. It's really good stuff, but the latex DAP stuff's about the same. I don't really notice a difference in caulk. Just make sure it's somewhat warm, you have a wet cloth. That's all that matters. Because this isn't a paint channel, I'm not gonna bring you along too much on this finish job I'm gonna do on it. So the first step is, I'm gonna use my palm sander with 220 sandpaper. I'm gonna hit it real hard, hopefully as fast as possible so the dust doesn't go over my house, although it's going to. Okay, while we're waiting for some of the patchwork to dry, I'm gonna go ahead and drill the holes for the sconces. A lot of dust. My wife's gonna kill me. A lot of dust. She's at work and she doesn't know the difference. Make sure I get the broom over there before she gets home. So I'm using 2 types of paint for this project. Although most of my wood on there is actually primed, the drywall is not. So I'm just gonna go ahead and prime the whole thing at once. I'm using Sherwin-Williams primer, nothing special. I said this the last time I used the paint sprayer. Makes me nervous, it's intimidating. Hope I put a good finish on this. We'll find out when I get it done. Pro Classic from Sherwin-Williams, good stuff. Anyways, it's the same white paint that I've used all over my house. So thin brick is just like regular brick. It looks like it feels like it. The only difference is it's thin. It's 1/4 of the weight, maybe less than that, 1/8 of the weight. So you can basically install it on any wall in your home, like I've done. It won't be very detailed here. I'm gonna have a longer video of this particular install at a later date and time. A lot of different ways out there to do this, but my way is simple and effective. Pretty simple. Here's the consistency. Gotta give a good shake to get it off. So all you're gonna do is give it a twist and squeeze it in there. Start top to bottom, just like this. You can be kind of sloppy on this, to be honest with you. You're gonna knock it off and make it look good in a little bit. Okay, you know it's ready when you touch it, and it's still soft, but it doesn't come off on your finger, see? Perfect right there. Let's find the studs. Here's my brackets. I used those before in my home bar. They work pretty good. Gotta carry a lot of weight. I think these things are rated for over 350 pounds each. We are making sure that we're hitting the studs here for sure. 71 and 7/8. 71 and 7/8. So where'd I get this mantel from? The property, you're looking at it. When we built the house, we saved a lot of the lumber and we're repurposing it inside of our home. We've got it all over the place. Great piece of lumber, 100% Indiana hickory. Go ahead, ask me. Am I nervous? Sure am. But what are we gonna do? Let's put the holes in for the mantel. Drill bit's a little bit bigger than my bracket. Gotta make sure I go in somewhat straight here. Too bad. Pretty simple. Hope it fits. I'm not gonna lie to you. I already fit it. It fits. It's snug, but it fits. Boom. So how'd we do? Whew. Not too bad. Bingo. It's been about 18 hours and I'm ready to paint. Black. My wife's got cold feet. She wants me to just keep it natural. I was like, no, my homeprohero community gave me the direction I needed to go. It needs to be dark and it's gonna be black. No going back. This may be the end of the homeprohero's marriage if I don't make this look good. Okay, quick little trim piece I made just with the table saw. It was already primed. I just had to put a couple coats of finish paint on it, but we'll touch it up once we get it installed. Got to be very careful here when we nail. We don't have a very big lip. Using real small 18 gauge nails, brad nails. Finally, the 50-inch smart fireplace from Touchstone. It says use 2 people. It's not that heavy. It's kind of dusty from all my construction. It's just these 2 screws in the very front. Pretty simple, little Phillips. It's funny how much work it took to get to this point. And now I'm finally just getting to the fireplace, which is the part that we wanted all along. And easily lift out the glass. Okay, so the nice thing about these things are they're nice knee pads. Anyways, there's 4 screws we gotta take out on the sides to get to the area where I can actually screw into my framework. You take these 2 little screws out, looks like. Pretty simple. And there it is. And there's my screw holes. Okay. That's perfect. Let me get the other side real quick. Okay, before we put this in the hole, we gotta make sure we plug it in. Now, luckily, I had a plug already in my wall. It's a standard socket, so nothing crazy. If you don't have one, you'll have to have a plug inside the wall. Come on, baby, fit. Ooh, it's snug. Ooh, it's real snug. Yes, sir. Just making sure it's tight against the brick. It's pretty simple. Definitely not gonna come out. I'll tell you, these heated fireplaces have come a long ways. I've got one in the living room that I bought on Amazon. Not nearly as good a quality as what the Touchstone is. Plus, it's not smart, so I plan on tying this one to Alexa. The Touchstone fireplace came with like 3 different types of media you put in there, but we're gonna go with the crystal. But they have a log, a 4-5 log that I took out when I first got it. And then some partial logs. I got some bigger ones too. That's the hardest part, putting the rocks in. All right, get that glass reinstalled. Should be pretty simple. think this black's really gonna pop on the white, so. Okay, get the other one up real quick. Looks nice. What you think? Can you see yourselves? Hey, look at this. It's like DIY Christmas around here. This thing turned out phenomenal. Ugh, it weighs a ton. Come on. Look at that. Woo. Alexa, master bedroom on. So what do you think? Do you like it? Pretty cool? What'd it cost me? About $1,400. It's not too bad if you consider the fireplace was the majority of the cost. And for an additional $300, you can add a mirror, a couple lights, and some decor across the mantel. Links in the description for all the products I used in this video, including the fireplace from Touchstone. Alexa, master bedroom off. Make sure you like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Take care.